running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Hondo and BigBeat coming to you live on what might be the most stacked Wednesday of the quarter. We got Fed Decision Day, AI Day, and Earnings Palooza all rolled into one big economic burrito. Futures are flashing green again, and the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow all set, as I said yesterday, Steve, to do what? Open at all-time highs. How you doing today, my friend?
Good, man. Still long on my portfolios, but man, there's just way too much positivity when there's not a real positive world. I just don't understand it, and that's what I want. That's what I've been talking about. So yeah,
I don't know that I hear all of this positivity, and I think when we go through earnings, we're going to see there's losers and winners. And one thing that I'm going to tell you that sort of goes to what you're talking about with K-shaped economy. We're seeing that across the stock market. If you take the S&P that's setting a new high, every day, it's great. But if you look at the equal weighted S&P, it's actually down, and like a bigger percentage of the S&P that is down. This is just tech AI. So it maybe, that's where I'm saying maybe, Steve, there isn't this big disconnect you're seeing, because there are winners and losers, and there are segments that are winning and losing, and there are stocks that are winning and losing.
There's not a disconnect to me, but there's a disconnect to the traders that are out there, the retailers that are buying. The disconnect, I have been screaming about this. This is what's happening. But there is a disconnect with the traders, but not a disconnect with the economy. People actually know what's up, but not these retail traders with smaller accounts that are buying zero DTEs, trying to push the market up, and they're going to get smacked. I mean, the zero DTE put to call ratio is the lowest it's been in decades, and it's absolutely pathetic. And it's going to get people hurt. And it is what it is.
You've been saying that for a long time, and you've been saying it about
the
just give me a second.
I said the same thing back when
you said the same thing about perpetual futures in crypto, and it's $100 billion in Bitcoin a day trading it. It's like the number one trade, so people are definitely making money on it.
Hell, I'm making lots of money. It's the best year I've ever had in my life. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, but
But when you look at the bigger picture, when you look at what's really going on, it is not good. The United States government is shut down.
What I'm saying is, I think it's good for traders, bad for investors. I think that you're missing that disconnect, trader versus investor, because you do both. A lot of people right now are just trading; they're not investing, so they're winning in this market. A lot of people I'm talking to that are even retail are doing really well right now, because they're in those big tech names.
I remember during COVID, I remember during .com, all my friends, I can't believe how great of a trader I am. And then I get the text, am I the worst trader in the world? No.
Oh, yeah, we'll see it, but it hasn't. But again, it hasn't happened yet. So when you ask why they continuing to do it, that's why. You look at the Qs over the last month, the S&Ps, they're up, 8%.
I'm up 86%, 87.9 this morning. Look, I get it. I totally understand. I just want to make sure people don't go over the skis here. I had a long chat with the board governor on the floor yesterday saying, yeah, they're being silly, but we're going to take advantage of them. I don't want to hear that, but that's what's happening, right? And I know that the big firms, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, you name them, they're smiling all the way to the bank. They're having a blast doing this, right? They're making money and taking these people's money, and to me, that's why
I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is
I love it.
That traders are winning right now, and that's
definitely not winning. You know who's winning right now? You know who's really what's winning? Gold and silver. Those guys are making a killing right now. Those guys, and I said it. You want to talk about the markets? And I've been saying, I mentioned this.
But I think retail has been all over gold. That's why it went to 4,500.
John Deere and Caterpillar are up today.
Yeah, Caterpillar had great earnings. Again,
today,
I'd bring
right?
that up. You
When
said they
those
wouldn't.
stocks go up, the markets are usually better. You are seeing a very bifurcated market. This market is not one of those markets where it's like Nvidia, Apple, the big Mag 7s are holding the rest of the market up. That's what's holding the market up, right? And you're seeing people losing jobs. When I talk about the Main Street and Wall Street, there's a difference here. I'm not talking 1,000 jobs being lost here. We're talking about 14,000 yesterday alone. Target 15,000. AI is taking over. And this whole time, when I say the bifurcated market, this is you think these people losing their jobs are saying the economy is great? You think people that are saying that I'm literally losing my house, the market's great? They don't care about the market. They care about feeding their families. People they're going to lose SNAP benefits here in literally 3 days. People are going to go hungry because we have a president who can't get it together. Right? We have a problem.
This isn't on him. This is not.
It's on both sides.
The government shutdown is not on
right
him.
Now.
Come on.
He could stop this right now. He could actually stop this. He is sticking to his guns because he wants to lay people off in the U.S. government. I just heard.
Well, but the judge just shot that down, so that's not happening.
I heard for the first time Joe Kernan on CNBC literally give Ted Cruz crap this morning, saying it's your fault too, boys. And he couldn't handle it. He wanted to get off the show so bad. Joe Kernan, the Republican conservative on there, is now going, you know what? You guys are wrong too. Right?
Yeah, both sides. It shouldn't be.
And I don't want to see people get sick and hurt and lose their homes and lose their jobs, but it's going to happen. This is a K economy and people don't really understand it. And the last time this happened, I mean, I heard this. My God, Steve, listen, pets.com is the greatest thing in the world. I still hate pets.com. Right. And that stock went from like what? It was $17 to like 400 when I should have got out. I sold it at 12. Right. I still hate pets.com because I thought the market was going to keep going. I learned my lesson. Right. I learned my lesson several times over the last 35 years that, you know what? Just because the market goes up does not mean the economy is great. It's working for me. Hell, it's great for me. Is it great for Howard? Probably. Is it great for a lot of people out there that own a show? Absolutely. But it ain't great for everybody. And I think people need to understand that when we trade and we invest, that we're investing because we believe in this country. We believe in what's going on the next level of this. We don't invest because of right now. We invest for the future because we think the future's wrong. And what's happening is we're seeing gambling at the highest level in history. Gambling in stocks, gambling in sports, again, gambling. Hell, DraftKings and these guys are going to probably lose their company because look, this morning Fiserv is down 38%. Stock is down on a 7-year low. This is a bank for young people. This is what I mean. I'm not trying to get my high horse this morning, and I wasn't going to, but this is what I mean when I say the economy is not working for everybody.
It's not working for everybody, but again, the traders that watch us, it's working for them. We don't speak to those folks right here.
We talk to everybody, Howard. That's my thing. I'm here to help everybody learn how to trade and invest and how to better their life. The unemployment rate's 4.2%, historically low. That is correct. I've lived through 16%.
Yeah, you're going to see both sides. Zora is the sky is falling, hates the administration, hates everything about it. So
I hate everything about
everything's going to be negative from that one. Steve is as pro as you get in the administration and everything else. So he's going to be the other side. You just saw both sides of Main Street right there. I know them both very well. And Kim, good to see you this morning.
But right now, the president's approval rating is the lowest in a sitting president that is not under indictment, which is unusual because he's been indicted 6 times. So this is a bifurcated economy. So guess what's going to happen? When people can't afford their homes, they start throwing their keys at their house again. And right now, let me tell you, I was just reading the Wall Street Journal article about guess who's the most busiest in history. In history, we're not talking about even bad times. The repo man. He is having cars. Houses are being repossessed in the middle of the night. This is not an economy that's working for everybody, right?
It definitely isn't working for everybody.
Yeah, look at the put call ratio right now, just in the Qs. It is out of control, and you're going to start to see it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. It's not going to get better. And you know what? I think at least the president's waking up listening to some of us about soybeans. So China bought some soybeans. Some. All right. At least the president's listening to us about some things. But it's too late. Farmers are already going bankrupt. We don't have farmers. How we eat? Sorry. Sorry, rich people. What are you going to eat? Other people? No, you got to eat corn and soybeans and things that we make. I mean, this is what I don't understand. And people think it's well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll get up my soapbox till Wednesday. But guess what? When I was complaining about the Fed not lowering rates, finally they've lowered rates, right? Now it could be the wrong way. So it's like, and guess what? We have a Fed who's going to talk today, who literally says we're data dependent, who literally hasn't had data for over a month. What the hell is that about? Right? What do they do? They're literally lost. They're going to live on the academics. I think Steve Langan's right. They're an academic group. So what's the academics behind it? What are they going to talk about? What is Powell going to say? Purple tie and all. What's he going to come out? He's going to be sweating in church.
I don't think so. I think he's very confident in
He
what
already knows.
Unfortunately, he's very confident in what he's done. He listen. He's convinced himself that they've done everything correctly. So that
Well, he's wrong. He's dead wrong. He's dead wrong.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
We should have lowered rates because we needed it. Why do you lower rates? Because the economy is not good. That's why you lower rates. This is look. I'm sorry. I haven't been in macro 101 in University of Illinois in many years. But I remember my master's degrees and I understood those economics and Keynes. And I went through all of them, right? And what economy are we living in right now? We're living in la land. We're living in, and I'm looking forward to Steve Flanagan telling us what he's renaming this economy 2.0 or whatever you want to call it. The truth is, it's not good. It's great for me. Thank you, everybody. It's not fair for everybody, and I don't like that. Right? It's not fair, and that's what I'm trying to teach people here in Quasar Markets is how we actually learn to invest. Why did I move money to Japan? And Japan's the highest and just again hit another all-time high. Not like we're hitting high.
So did our markets. Again, every time you're going to say that, I'm just going to point
our market jumped 0.4%. Japan jumped 3.5%. That's a difference. I made more money than
so Nikkei. Man, you're going to make me do this. So the Nikkei is up. Come on, where is it?
Because here's the thing. The reason we moved it was because Japan has a new economy coming up. That's going to be about Japan. Our economy is not about us. We are we are a service economy. We are not a manufacturing economy. We cannot get back to manufacturing economy in 1 year. It takes time to get back to it. Tim Cook told you that. Steve Jobs told you that. I'm sorry. Tim Cook said that. Oracle said that. So that's what I mean by this, right? That we are in a bifurcated economy it's not working. And guess what's going to happen? What always happens? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say the economy was bad? Well, guess what? I'm telling you the economy is bad. I've heard that so many times in my life. Why didn't you say it? Why didn't you say that it's happening? I can't scream it. Am I banging the desk yet? No, because guess what? I had a chat with the third-ranking person at SIBO. Said to me last night, Steve, it's going to fall. It's going to hit hard and buy the dip. Be ready. I'm like, yep, I already am. I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. This is how the people in the options pitch are telling us that. They're not saying it out loud. Why? Because they don't want that. They want people buying and selling VIX calls and puts to make money. And I love SIBO. Everybody knows that. I'm a big fan of S&P. I'm a huge fan of SIBO. And I love what they're doing. But they're not in the business to lose money. They're in the business to make money, to take your money. You think gambling houses are in the business to lose money? They're in the business to make money. So when I say to people, look, the economy isn't working the way that you think it is, this is what I mean, right? This is what I mean. And I'm trying to tell people this. And well, I don't really want to bang the desk yet, because everyone here knows if I bang the desk, that means get the hell out or get the hell in. I'm not doing that yet because we're still are pushing up. And guess what? I have a portfolio still going north, but it's not all in U.S. stocks. It's moved around. I literally only have about 40% now in U.S. stocks. That's true. That's the first time I think I've ever said that. It's been the lowest I think ever. I've had a Chat GPT go over my portfolio and smile and said, you had probably the best portfolio ever seen. Thank you. Appreciate it. Why? Because data. I'm not dependent on what Trump tweets or what something happens. I'm actually looking at the future, right? And I think what's happening right now, I think people are literally lost about what they're thinking about. And I am long Bitcoin. Why? Because I think it's the future. I think once our dollar is losing power every single day, the fiat world is losing power. Ask people in Japan that they want to move over to crypto. Ask people in India that want to move over to crypto. There's an article that just came out about Russia, about Putin, saying, how is this guy, the big bear, how is he losing the most weirdest war in history? They call it the weirdest war in history, right? It's not normal. It's not a normal time. So do you really want to invest in abnormal times? I'm not investing that way. I'm not putting all my money in pets.com anymore. I'm not putting all my money in Palantir. I did at 35. I love NVIDIA. I think what NVIDIA is doing fantastic. At $200, Apple worth $4.5 trillion. I mean, I love Apple. I got all the products. $4.5 trillion, folks. $4.5 trillion. Is Apple really worth $4.5 trillion? No, it's not. If you pull the actual numbers up, look at this thing called fundamentals. We're not even close. The earnings right now, okay, are still coming in good. Why? Because they front run the tariffs. Is that going to happen in January and February? I don't want to see crying and gnashing of teeth. That's right. NVIDIA, $5 trillion in sight. What the hell? 5 trillion. Okay, I can't even explain what trillion is to most people. 1,000 billion. Now I'm trying to get off my soapbox here, but I mean, it's getting worse. And here comes the Fed this afternoon telling us, well, we don't really know because we don't have data. Okay, well, how do you know the economy is good? Well, the economy is not good. Why is it not good? People are losing their jobs. When I hear 4% unemployment rate, how do you know it's 4% unemployment rate? Data's not right. You already know Amazon's losing jobs, 14,000. The warehouses are gone. Oh, you're a manufacturing plant. Okay, you're blue collar. And those jobs are gone, right? This economy is not the same economy everybody thinks that it is. And that's what I'm saying. I'm going to stick to that horse because I'm right. I'm dead right. And when I say I'm dead right, it's not because I've got this crystal ball, which I do on my desk. It's because I did my homework. I always do my homework. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that when they're looking at this economy and they're saying, hey, what's really going on? Let's dig deep into the trenches and see what's really happening. That's what I want to know. And I mean, if people are, Dollar General and Dollar Tree, look at the stock. People go there because the economy is not working for them. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to stick to that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't argue that the economy is not working for more than half of the country. The problem is again, that top 10% is the 10% that moves the needles. And for them, it is going fantastic. And that's why we can continue to move up, in my opinion, because they can hold the market up longer than we can keep it down. Got to get to NVIDIA here. Got to get to NVIDIA here, as we talked about. They're rallying again. The shares up another 3.5% pre-market after Jensen went full Oprah yesterday at the DC GTC conference. You get a deal. You get a deal. Everybody gets AI. If you're keeping score at home, a $1 billion equity stake in Nokia, and not for phones. NVIDIA's back in Nokia's pivot into AI-driven networking gear. Nokia's stock exploded 22%, its best day since 2021. A partnership with Eli Lilly to build a literal AI super factory for drug discovery. Think the picks and shovels of Farmer's Gold Rush. Lucid, I didn't have that one on my scorecard. Lucid Motors plugging NVIDIA's chips into its self-driving stack, shooting for what they call mind-off driving in the next 2 years. And get this, Jensen said the fastest Blackwell GPUs are now being manufactured in Arizona, Steve. Arizona.
I like that.
So Arizona isn't just for retirees in golf anymore. It's officially producing the chips of the future. He also dropped the mic with the stat that made every CFO choke on their latte. NVIDIA has visibility into over $500 billion in chip revenue between the current Blackwell and the next generation Vera Rubin platform?
Yeah, a year ago when I was on Schwab Network talking about NVIDIA, I was asked by Nicole Petalides what I thought. I said, look, the Blackwell chipset to me is the next key to all of the AI. And I said, that is the chipset that's going to change the world. And by the time, NVIDIA stock was actually down. And I said, buy it then, because that was the time to buy NVIDIA. I like the chipset. And everybody was hating on NVIDIA. Remember that? They're hating on NVIDIA. Who the hell is hating on it? Today, you don't think that, right? Today, we think, oh my God, NVIDIA. Blackwell chipsets, I thought, were going to change the world. The stock, I think, was really cheap. I mean, it was crazy cheap. And of course, now I've sold it. But this is my point. Now we're over our skis on Blackwell. I think now it's going to cost them more. The margins are going to come way down, and the world has changed. This is what I mean by doing homework, right? I love the Blackwell chipset. I thought that was going to be a game changer, especially in AI. Remember when I saw AI and everybody thought, what the hell is AI? Now AI is everywhere. Trust me, folks, AI is not the key to everything. I promise you, I do it every day. I live the AI world. I've been doing it for 15 years. But I can tell you that AI is changing. When I hear companies say to me, hey, Steve, but AI is all about AI agents, agentic AI. And I hear the word people talk about, do you know about agentic AI? Yes, 7 years ago. Where were you then, right? Oh, well, you should invest in that. No, I don't, because agentic AI is already in open AI. It's already in all the AI things that we use. We don't even mess with agentic AI. That's what I mean by investing in the future, not the past. Right? So when I looked at the Black chipset in general, I said, okay, what is it that they're going to accomplish? Right? It's server chipsets for. So when you talk about Apple and the ecosystem, Apple talks to Apple very well, by the way. Whatever you're using, it's Apple. NVIDIA talks to NVIDIA chipsets very, very well. So that's what I meant by server side, push outside. When you do the server calls for AI, that you need a faster chipset, and that's a straight pipe, right? So I thought that Blackwell was a smart move on NVIDIA, and they've done well. And they're easily able to add those to the blades on hardware. Server farms, it's easy, right? I can just buy one, pop one in, and we're good to go, and lay it on top. That made a difference, and I like that. But moving it to Arizona, great for America, great for the workers. But NVIDIA company is probably going to lose money because the cost, labor, right, to make that. And now, do they make it with robots? So there's your future, right? Robotic creation of these chipsets. So all of a sudden, it doesn't help America. Just puts it here, right? Okay, great. And guess what? We have tariffs, and guess what? We still have supply lines. Change. Arizona's not easily in the supply chain. Where are you going to send them to? Mexico? How are you going to get them to the East Coast and West Coast to chipset them out, right? Trains. That's what I mean by doing your homework. Figure it out where the picks and shovels and axes are. Then you'll understand how to invest, right? That's why Warren Buffett has Burlington Northern Southern Santa Fe, BNSF, right? Because he knows that the cheapest and the most efficient route is by trains. So all of a sudden you've learned. We've gone from the NVIDIA Blackwell chipset to how do we make money, and this is what I mean by it doesn't work for everybody.
Yep. And they're Vera Rubin, and they're changing their company. My answer to they'll be 5 trillion, they'll probably be 6 trillion, is the fact that they are going to be plug and play if you want to build a data center. If you looked at what they're doing, the combinations, they're making it so if you want to build a data center, you just go to NVIDIA, and they've got all the partners together, Vertiv and Carrier and all those different names, and Hitachi and Nokia, and they say, okay, folks, and they can build it so much faster now than anybody else. And as you said, it's going to be a rush to see who can build these out. So be interesting to see. Market is up, getting into the open here. We are 4 minutes from the open. Q set to open up about 40 basis points here. 26 basis points on the SPY. Tick pretty flat. Advanced decline up 1,000 so far here today. So market's looking to move to the upside. Bitcoin 113,600 or so is moving up this morning, but again, until spot volume comes, it isn't doing anything.
Fiserv now down 43%. I am looking to. I want to let it shake out. I said that this morning when I was chatting this morning with our group. I said, let it shake out. Don't try to buy it in the early, but I am looking to pick some Fiserv up here. They do have some problems. I get that. But this company now at 72 could easily be purchased. This is a financial new banking system wow, this is interesting. Yeah, Ron's saying data center infrastructure companies. Absolutely. I agree with that. That's exactly what I think. Yep. Yeah, okay, let's get to it. We're about 2 minutes here now to the open. So my eyes are very tight right now. I'm looking at Tesla, as everybody knows. But Tesla down, starting to slip here on the open here. Not a lot of trading going on right now, so we need to be careful. I think it's sitting on your hands until obviously 2 o'clock when the Fed releases the info, and of course 2:30 when Powell comes out to speak. Purple tie, obviously he hasn't changed a tie yet at all. So I'm not sure how many purple ties he has, Howard. Probably
No
got
idea. Looks like the same one usually.
I'm gonna purchase here Fiserv down here, I think. So for those of you who are playing at home, just be careful. This is a fast mover. There is probably some left to sell, but my eye is on Fiserv here. We're about a minute to go here. I'm going to turn my charts onto, believe it or not, a 5-second chart here. So it's going to be a fast mover and heavy, but we are now less than 30 seconds down to the open here. Is that right? 45 seconds to the open. It's a trade, Ron. It's not a investment. It's a trade like we do. I think a lot of people are scared, and I like scared. Just be careful. I'm not pulling it right at the beginning here, so it's not my thing. And I'm not going full boat, but this could be a nice move here. We are now 15 seconds here now to the open here. So look, there's a little bit of a bounce there on that bottom down there. Let it. Okay, we should be open.
Market is open.
And some selling has hit a little bit here. And I have bought some Fiserv right here. So let's see how it goes.
Tick is negative 400 off the start here. Hughes moving to the upside. SPY moving to the downside. Dow Jones opens up 25 basis points here so far. Mag 7, everything in the green outside of Netflix, down about 42 basis points. And again, NVIDIA up 3.4. Little sell-off there right off the open.
Fiserv is slipping just a little bit here.
Now down below 69.
I am
DXY pretty flat here this morning, up about 7 basis points. As I said, the Dow is up about 20 basis points, moving to the upside. It looks like a little bit. SPY up 20 basis points. Also, it is trying to recover from lows of the morning. Hughes, I just lost. Hughes moving to the upside here.
I mean, it's 69.70 here.
Good little bounce back.
Yeah, we'll see what I get here.
Trying to break back to the upside above 70 here. There you go, 70.55. Trying to get back up for you. 71.01.
And I've taken that money off. I had about 2,000 shares there, so I did take that off. Those of you who are playing at home with me, Oh my. Okay. Whew. Yeah. Nice move here. So, okay. Hopefully that helps everybody here. Always want to bring something good to people here, not just scream and yell about how shitty the economy is, but actually do something right. So I hope that helps. Could go higher though. Actually, I think that they're oversold here. This is what I mean by when I think that the people are wrong about things. Sometimes they hit them too hard. Bitcoin 113.6 here, Howard. We're going to get back up there. I heard some rumblings earlier that we could get down to 110.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, nope, not unless spot volume comes back. It's all about spot volume. Let's move up by figure here.
There it is, NVIDIA now at $5 trillion.
Wow. 209. 5.05 trillion. There you go. Unbelievable. We asked yesterday. It went up $500 billion today. That's crazy. That is insane.
Could Fiserv is looking very interesting here. Could slip again here if can't hold. All right, it's tick now down 200 here. Whoa. Thinking everybody out there, they're watching us now. Wow, hit that like button, subscribe, and retweet us out there. We appreciate all of this. We're not boring here. That's damn sure, right, Howard?
Yep. Q's up about 47 basis points. We did set a new all-time high in the NASDAQ, in the Q's, at least 636.22. S&P again, no all-time high, 688.94. And the Dow Jones did not yet hit an all-time high. So let's see if the Dow Jones can keep up also. But all of those hit all-time highs again today. So new day, new all-time high. VIX is back up to 1655. We told you yesterday when it was below 16 to get it in there. Gold regained that $4,000 handle, so that seems to be the big spot there. Ethereum, again, trading almost exactly in line with it at 4,008. So there you go. WTI back above 60, but not by much, 60.27. And interest rates were just below, 10 years still 3.993. So it is below the 4.4 level there. Sectors of the S&P: energy, utilities, and technology opening in the green, materials, consumer staples, consumer discretionary in the red, industrial in the greens, led by Caterpillar, as we mentioned earlier, and then all the rest in the red. Real estate getting hit pretty hard, along with financial sector getting hit hard today. That Fiserv, as Steve mentioned, really taking it down 1.21%. In the pre-market movers, Teradyne, who had great earnings, up about 20.6% here and continuing to move towards the upside here. You also have Fortive Corp up about 10.56%, but off the highs of the day. And Vita Coca Company. So, you want to know what the kids are drinking, Steve? They're drinking their coconut waters, up about 8.76 after a really strong earnings report this morning.
I'm not sure who was yelling louder this morning, me or Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer's going at it now.
There you go. Centene is up about 9.14% on their earnings. Also, this morning had a strong earnings report. You see Cognizant up 9.36. Seagate had strong earnings, up 12.46.
Yep.
They had a record 40% gross margin there, Steve, and they're bumping up their dividends. So
White House staff says that Korean Air will buy 103 new Boeing aircraft, ticker BA there, $36 billion worth.
BA, another one that had earnings today or overnight, trading down about 4% on theirs. And Disk up about 6.22%. They had strong play off of the earnings there also. Western Digital's up about 10% here this morning. Steve, as you mentioned, transportation, ODFL up about 3.48% here this morning after their earnings. Verizon had stronger earnings also, 3.79 to the upside here. That had been down earlier.
You know, what's interesting about Verizon is I've been reading about AT&T having customer problems. I know about that. So I think that Verizon might be picking some customers up from AT&T soon. Okay, if I start getting smacked again here, I had a feeling we'd sell just a little bit more. Qs are now dropping here. Now near the lows of the day, tick now down 249. So yeah, Fiserv just dropped off my charts there, 68. It's good. That's it. Take that money and run, baby. That's what trading is about.
Absolutely.
Continue to see a little bit of selling there. Q's holding a wee bit here. Silver 48.10 now as gold popping above the 4,000 handle again. Gold could get right back. I mean, look, if what we think happens, gold could go to 5,000. Although I'm seeing quite a few silver commercials for silver mines lately. So there you go.
Always one of your things that you warn about. One of those things you always warn about there.
$68.50 there. I had a feeling that was kind of what we were at on Fiserv there. Bitcoin 113 flat now again.
Absolutely.
There's some put buyers on April put buyers on Nvidia now.
Maybe hedging, listening to you and protecting their portfolio.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying go sell your portfolio. I'm not saying go live under a rock, because I don't do that. But I am saying that be prepared. Be the Boy Scout out there. Understand that the markets don't always go one direction, and when they go one direction like this for so long, something's gonna happen, right? Steve Flanagan talking about, yep, he's right. Bank of Canada coming out pretty soon. The BOC coming out with the interest rate. Look. I don't know. It seems that Mark Carney is staying out of it, but Mark Carney being the Prime Minister of Canada, Goldman Sachs boy, I know a lot of his staff, right? And it's interesting. You got to be careful out there because they might cut too. If they cut at under 2.5%, ouch, there's something wrong in Canada.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean,
their decision there.
The banks can't make any money on that, right? So,
tick back negative here, about 320. Q's up 43 basis points off the highs of the day. SPY pulling back a little bit. Also here, Dow Jones, though, does move to the highs of the day here, and it has followed suit and set a new all-time high also. So, again, all three indices set new all-time highs here today. Gold holding above 4,000 really nicely. Bitcoin trying to hold the 113 handle, and Ethereum trying to hold the 4,000 handle here. We did see inflows in the ETFs. That helps with that spot volume, but not enough to move the needle significantly yet. Carvana, after a strong day yesterday, up another 1 point, almost a full percentage point here today.
Guess I'm having to reboot.
What's wrong, sir?
I guess I have to reboot one of my screens. Oracle default swaps jump on concerns over AI spending spree. Yeah. Institutions aren't stupid. They know what's up. They know that. Look, we get all this. This is you just said it 2 minutes ago. You know, the Oprah feel of NVIDIA. You get a data warehouse. You get a data warehouse, right? I mean, I'm glad that there's look. I remember, was it like 2 years ago when Mark Zuckerberg came out and said, and the stock was under 100. Believe this or not, Meta was under 100, and people thought that the Meta was over. Facebook is done. We're not going to use Facebook. I heard every reason in the world why we weren't going to use Facebook anymore. No, I think Mark is doing a smart move. He's investing quite nicely in the next level of AI. This was 2 years ago before AI was even taken off. He was the only person spending money. Not even NVIDIA was at that time was spending money, right? Stock was under 100. What's it at today? Over 300 now, right? That's what I mean when they're talking about they're investing for the future. So they know that the future is AI. So, you know, if you got a job now and it's not, you're not in a position where it's middle management or accounting or making drugs, or AI is going to affect everybody in this economy, right? So make sure you're on the right side of that. At least learn AI. It's not going to be, you're not going to be replaced by AI. You're going to be replaced by the person who understands AI.
Absolutely. We talk about that all the time.
Yep. I will give props to Apple. I am enjoying Apple's news now that I've got it curated correctly. Took a little while, but I do that. Steve Flanagan says that he does expect the Bank of Canada to cut by 25 basis points there. I agree with him on that. Yeah. What's the... Right. So, what else now says?
Still slightly negative. Q's holding up, though. Everything's sort of holding up. Not really much of a move. Advanced decline minus 1,100 here this morning so far. Again, you know, gold holding above 4,000. Ethereum trying to hold 4,000. Also, Bitcoin 113. Oil trying to hold 60. And we're trying to keep the 10-year under 4. So those are the big numbers to keep an eye on today.
One of the things that I've been talking about, and I think we talked about this a couple of months ago, that about the weather here coming up in the winter. It's going to be a very cold winter, So I do expect natural gas to continue to push higher, with it being that cold. How do I know it's going to be that cold? Listen, I live in Florida. I understand all about heat, cold. Very simple. Hurricane season usually hits Florida. Because of the weather and this cold front that came through the north, that pushed off, unfortunately, to Jamaica and Cuba, and our prayers are with them as they are digging out this morning. Is that cold weather kept the system out of Florida? So that weather right now is actually pushing it off. So yeah, I do see that. Oh wow, look at the numbers coming in, Howard. Loving this. Loving the number of people out there. Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Please hit the like button, follow button, share button. All those fun things help us outreach more retail, get the warning across to everybody out there. Fiserv has moved back up to 71.62 here, so it did move back to the upside.
Could be building a base down here. It could be where the sellers are just done.
Seagate, the one that's really still moving to the upside here, almost up 15% here. Same thing, Caterpillar still moving to the upside, up 11% here. Western Digital up 10.61. So we do have some definite runners here today.
Everybody texting me and hitting me up saying, right on, right on. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about being prepared, right? Yeah, look at that. Look at that, Zorak. Well done. 8 points on.
Nice. There you go. Good job there, Zora.
And which direction did you go, Zora?
Oh, this elevator giving up some of its early morning gains, up still 1.66.
And Canada
That'll
did
come
got a
from
quarter
work.
point. So, yeah. Thank you, Steve, for catching that. Bitcoin's still slipping here. Yeah, I'm with you, Zora. I'm done as well for the day. I think it's a nice move. I crushed it this morning, so I think I'm in uptrend. Yeah, smart move. Yeah. Oh, look at the cues. Just yeah. I mean, I think linear regression right now is a smart move to add to your charts. Dollar now, Dixie now 98.87 here, so the dollar is pushing up a little bit here. It could press on that 99 handle very soon here. Palantir now almost 2.5%, a little over 2.5% now.
NVIDIA 210.49 here, Steve, up 4.68% this morning. That's taking the market with it right now. That's
one of them I'm talking about is Caterpillar. I've been talking about it on the show about those companies, John Deere and Caterpillar. Caterpillar's up now 12% on the day. All right. I mean, that's what I mean. The materials are in the ground that we need, rare earths. So guess what? You got to have machines to dig it up. So there's your thesis. And it's not hard to understand. It's perfect. It's common sense. And they don't even care what they dig up out of the ground. If they dig gold, silver, platinum, your ex-wife, I don't know. I mean, whatever comes up out of the ground, they'll just sell it. Fiserv here, baby. Fiserv. Where we at? $72 now on Fiserv. That's where it was. That's where the balance was. I had a feeling they were going to start holding down there. If you are interested in, yeah, I mean, look, it's still down 43%. So, and I think it's down like a 7-year low here. So, Intel down 1% here, finally taking a break as well. Dollar yen pushing against my numbers. I don't like that. I need more sushi and sake. Steve Flanagan asks, is it safe to enter? Is it safe to enter? Enter here? Into us? Yeah, man, of course. Come on, bro.
I mean, you and Steve are going to fight it out. I've had the same view of it all along. You need to protect yourself. You need to have it.
Look, I love it.
Steve's changing now to that it's been a hedge. It's not a banging the table to sell. That's a little change. And I will point out as we bring Mr. Flanagan in that you also were negative Caterpillar when I asked about it recently.
Not me. I was proud. I spoke about it on Schwab not too long ago.
Flanagan, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, guys. And today is a big day. Emotions.
I'm getting out of the way. I'll be back to referee.
For those of you who don't know, maybe new to the show or whatever, Howard and I've been friends 35 years, and Steve Flanagan and I are friends. That's what makes a market, Steve. Right? When you disagree with me and I disagree with you, great. I buy, you sell, I buy. That's what makes a market. If we all are on the same side forever, it doesn't work out. So I like this.
And Don't you wish that the Republicans and the Democrats would just look at each other and say, hey, guys, you disagree, I disagree. That's what makes a market. Let's find where
here's
I
the
will
thing,
step
Steve.
back to say that will never
Come
happen, but
on
it
now.
should. That should happen from both sides. And I want to make that clear too, is I don't like one side or the other. I hate both, especially right now. So I do want to make that clear for the viewers also. It won't. And this is, it's got to happen at some point.
And he's right. Steve, living in DC as long as I have, a little over 16 years, Republicans and Democrats, we're all friends in DC.
Yep, that's right.
You watch TV, it's like, people ask me, what's DC like? And I say, well, it's like the old show of Wile E. Coyote, where Wile E. Coyote and the sheepdog fight all day. They go at it, they beat the hell out of each other. And at the end of the day, hey, how are you? How's the wife and kids? Great. Because that was a job. Their job is to defend their member, go back to get. The first thing you learn when you go to Washington is you learn one thing: how to get reelected.
That's it, Steve.
There's no other thing to do. And are you changing something in Washington? Nothing changes. All right. So we are in the precipice of the longest shutdown in history. I think we not passed it, maybe even passed it. I'm not even sure. They're not even close to getting into anything. There's no CRs for those continuing resolutions for those. What are we expecting here? We've got a Fed that can't even depend on data that says they're data dependent. We have a government that's literally shut down. The number of Americans that are on SNAP benefits, food stamps, could be in trouble. I guess there's a lawsuit right now to keep it going from some states. What do they do, Steve?
When in doubt, get another lawsuit together. Look, there's such a disconnect between, Washington. And so when you talk about, your Washington experience, it's all about FaceTime over there. And, today, because of the transparency that's been offered, the FaceTime that all these politicians want, it's, the simple road is how to become a millionaire in a very short period of time. It's better than insider trading. It's better than anything. All of these guys become millionaires in such a rapid period of time. So anyway, enough with Washington. Washington is done. They're cooked. They're fried. Again, this is going to support that youthful movement that I believe is going to be shaping very rapidly, along with the way technology is coming in. But today, emotions are very high. And just look at the way your show, and then you evidenced Jim Cramer. He's freaking out today as well. So what does it mean when emotions run high because of the events? Bank of Canada, followed by the Fed, followed by Bank of Japan tonight, followed by the ECB in the morning. So the tectonic plates are moving under the financial markets, and we all recognize it.
Is it moving
high?
Is it moving?
Should you be buying? Steve, you and I.
Is it moving more than normal? Is that why the emotions are running high? I mean, again, here I talk about the K economy, right? And yet I made more money today by trading, right? I mean, I'm having the best year of ever, but it's not fair to everybody, Steve. That's what my high horse was today, my soapbox, what do you want to call it today. The emotions that I'm seeing is not the emotions that I'm seeing everywhere, right? I'm seeing people that are losing their jobs, but we can go back to the old adage that you and I know. Recession is when your neighbor loses his job, and depression is when you lose your job, right?
That's right. Yep.
This K economy is working perfectly for you and me, but it's not working for everybody.
Not yet. And that's my whole point, Steve. Not yet. Unemployment is still 4.2%, roughly.
That's true.
It's probably going to inch slightly up. But in my book, from when I started working in 1979, anything under 6% was considered full employment. So, we are going to be laying people off. But there's $20 trillion that's coming into the United States that's going to go.
There's also less people to do those jobs. And now AI is coming in.
Yeah, and so there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to re-educate themselves. And, change is very disruptive, as I had a discussion this morning with my sister-in-law. And, change is disruptive to a human being. However, change is something that we need to embrace. So if a job ends, change is something that can be very, good for a change in life. But
So you're seeing high emotions in your own family. Is that correct?
Emotions are high everywhere. That's just where we're at in this particular world. Steve, I got my turn that you wanted me to do. I'm not going to talk about the New World Order anymore.
Yeah, I'm coming back
Here
for
we go,
this.
ladies and gentlemen. Listen, flash breaking. Here we go. Steve Flanagan and I, for those of you who don't know out there, I've asked Steve Flanagan here. Thank you so much for being on the show all the time. Steve was the head of the currency desk, forex desk for JP Morgan for God knows how many years. I think it was almost 40. And I have tasked Steve Flanagan. Okay. I've asked Steve Flanagan everybody out there to coin the term for this new economy. And over the last 2 weeks, he hasn't really been able to pinpoint it. So today, right here, right now, pre-market of the Fed, Steve Flanagan, the floor is yours. Name this new economy.
Not only before the Fed, but I'm also going to go out before the United States and China meet. What we have is not a new world order, but a quantum convergence. What is a quantum convergence? It symbolizes unity from chaos. Are we not in a chaotic world right now? Since April? What I think is happening, Steve, look around the globe. Japan and the United States. I want to let you know, anytime you have any questions, any doubt, anything you want, any favor you need, anything I can do to help Japan. That was what Trump just said to the new Japanese prime minister.
He did.
What I see happening here, and I wrote it out, I'm going to term it, and I'm going to post it later. So it's a hope. A quantum convergence is a hope for a better future. It's bright news in a world where countries stop fighting and start teaming up with big ideas and innovations. This has been what I've been saying. This is the.
So you turn to George Soros now?
Nope.
We're into globalization?
Not a globalist.
I just had to throw that in because that's about as the furthest thing you are, but
Not where I'm going. However, it's the technology that is driving this new quantum convergence because it's technology for all. United States can sit there and say we are the hub and the center, and we are. We're the leader. But it's a shared technology that's going to be through the world. And that's why I have two major points to bring to everyone. One, Fed's up next. Does the Fed end quantitative tightening? They're going to cut. But do they end quantitative tightening, which has been what has been killing America, because they are extinguishing available capital. As we shrink the government, the pool of capital opens up for the investing world. If you are using quantitative tightening, you are extinguishing the liquidity in that pool, and it never comes back. They've got to stop that. And the second part, US-China. Does it address the core issue? What is the core issue? It's America's economic conflict with China. At the heart, we have a foundational problem with China that it's our technology, not yours, and we can't share it. I listened to this interview from Jensen from NVIDIA, and these guys get it. And I
watched the whole thing yesterday with that. What they're rolling out and the ability for them to build these data centers, boom, 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 and what they're doing. Here's another thing for Mr. Peter Thomas, and getting a little off subject. You know how much copper is in one of those data centers?
Yeah.
5 miles. 5 miles of copper cable is the thing you use. I was sitting there writing notes, taking pictures of screens because, you know, the people I want to invest in, like the Vertivs that are going to be part of this, the Hitachis, the Nokias, I'm with you on that quantum side of it, I don't think everybody wins, but I do think NVIDIA has moved beyond just a chip manufacturer to being a data center creator.
And China
ecosystem and building out, like what you talked about with Steve with Apple, right? They're building out that ecosystem at that level. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
China has raw materials. China also has a huge amount of the scientists that are involved in this tech explosion. So why can't we figure out a way to share in the world? It cannot be a US centric world. It's got to be a world that brings everybody in. And that's why I've come up with this, Steve.
But doesn't China think of us as the enemy? I mean, do they really want to give us rare earths? They really want to sell us their rare earths when they can use it for themselves? I mean, do you think of it from our own perspective? You think Trump is just really happy willy-nilly to sell our own rare earths? We don't do that with our own oil, right? With our own oil, we dig a hole and we put a nice bow on it and put a number on it and save it for later. We're not really an oil exporter. We are nat gas exporters. But I think it's very hypocritical of our country to say, hey, we'll just buy your stuff and not sell you our stuff. So I understand. Yeah, go ahead.
That's got to change, Steve. That has to change.
I agree.
Well, you've been saying that, Steve. Caterpillar, right? That's what's got to happen. I mean, I think that you're both in the right mindset there and in the same boat. I think you're in the same boat.
Howard says we're both right. Wait a minute. Stop.
Well, I think you're both in the same boat. I think you're just saying it a different way. That's why I'm kind of coming in. Is that I think both of you are saying exactly the same thing. That it's not China where we need to get it from. We need to get it here or with our partners in Canada and our partners in maybe other places where there's more. We
don't even have a deal with Canada.
Yeah, no, we don't. Well, that's for sure. But that's what we need to get, and that's what we're moving towards. I believe. Hopefully, we need to at some point.
But I think that this is the underlying premise of all these trade deals. It's to make things fairer.
You mean the quantum convergence?
Yes, it's a big shift in the world, all coming together, and technology is the unifier. When you listen to all these guys who are in the business talk, the Jensens and all of them, they don't look at it. Yes, it's a U.S. thing, and the United States can definitely lead the way, but it's not something that we can claim a monopoly power on. We can't.
How do we lead, Steve? How do we lead when we don't even have an administration that's leading? We don't have a Congress that's even in session. We don't even have a government. How do we lead? How do we lead by example when we can't even make our own damn examples? That's been my problem.
So here we go. When we look at this government and we look at them all speaking, the youth, they make sense. The older guys, they're just dug in. It's a youth movement. And the technology in the world unifies.
Do we have it? Okay, I agree with this. Okay, I like this quantum convergence. I love this a lot, by the way. I'm calling it the quantum convergence economy, and I expect you to write a paper about this that'll be pushed out there. Okay, so it's a youth movement. So does this mean that it's like the 90s with me and Clinton? Is it like the 70s youth movement, like the Vietnamese or the Vietnam War movement? Is it like that kind of youth movement where they have to rise up and change the whole world? Or is it where youth movement around the world is changing globally?
That's what it is. And it's not something that has to be a rise up. Remember, Steve,
they're entrenched, and how they're gonna get out?
Well, that's the older group, Okay. They're stuck in their ways. And that's how they lived life. That is how things have been done. It's the technology that's shifting so rapidly. Let's just you and I say, in the last 6 months, 8 months, how much has changed in the world of technology? It's been amazing. Right. Just the simple AI ability to type a computer. Microsoft, now you can talk to your computer and it starts having a conversation with you. This is all within the last year.
Yes.
What about the next year? What about when people all around the world suddenly say, I have a problem feeding my people, and they plug it in and it comes up with, well, you need to dedicate more resources into your fishing reserve. You need to put more into harvesting this. And suddenly, boom, you've got enough. So we've got rural countries that are now entering in to to a technology world.
Yeah.
And the advancements that technology offers them is to solve so many of their problems. That is not a new world order, which means somebody leads it and there's constant fighting going on. We are getting peace deals all over the world. This is what we are on the precipice of. This is why stock markets are going to all-time highs, because money moves first and money sees where it's going and what's going to happen in the world, and everybody wants to participate.
So is
But
this buy before and then sell the news? Is this sell it? So when we have these deals, then do we sell, or is it still going to go higher?
it depends on what you're in. As Howard and you have evidenced the last couple of weeks, not all companies are moving higher. What is fueling the Dow Jones Industrial Average? What makes up that? Well, we know that some of these big Mag 7 make up a massive part of these indexes, and that's why we're moving up. But when you break it down, there's a lot of companies out there that are not doing well, as you evidenced the bank today. They're not doing well. So you've got to be very selective in your risk management. But the technology world that's moving to this quantum convergence, people are seeing it. They want to be involved in it. And that's where money's moving. And it's going to happen. And it's going to leave the old guard behind. So the government's closed. Big spiel. Will it get to the point where SNAP's programs? No, it's not going to. What's going to happen is the Senate will take the nuclear option and they'll vote with a simple majority, and you'll get 51 people that vote, and boom, you've got a continuing resolution. Now let's sit down and talk about healthcare. That's what's going to happen before November 1st. We all know it. Nobody wants to use the nuclear option and taking away the 60 vote.
November 1st of this year. Is that what you're saying?
That's right, Steve. End of the week. Now,
I think we do not run into it, because more of the states are in courts right now to get it subsidized. And I do think you'll see movement there. The courts seem to be the answer. I think you'll find it hard for a decision before November 1.
It can't happen, Howard. The court can't overrule Congress. Congress makes this law. Congress is the one that has already issued a continuing resolution. The Senate is holding it up. The courts have no say in that.
We've said that about a dozen things so far that they have done, that they've changed the rules. So, they can.
You may get a district judge to rule on it. Okay. And then it'll bounce up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will say, district court, you're out of line. Nope, ain't going to happen. Congress and the Senate, that's where that law comes in. So anyway, I don't know about November 1st, but I think SNAPs and all those programs go November 15th. So that's the deadline in the sand. And I think that you will end up with a nuclear option, and they will pass and reopen. And then everybody's going to sit down and go, okay, kumbaya, let's sit down and figure out this healthcare now that we're all tried to hold it up on. So, I mean, this is just politics of old.
But I think they're holding this whole thing up because of the healthcare issue. And I don't think that we'll go back to it. If we do pass a CR, I don't think we'll ever see the healthcare issue. I think it's DOA if he goes nuclear.
Not when you have Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out saying we have to work on it. So right there.
I don't know what's going on. I think Marjorie, we will definitely not open our arms up to MTG, but on our side. But I will say this much: there is some grumbling on the Republican side.
No doubt about it, Steve. And that's why you'll get this, and then everybody will sit down and they will hammer it out. Look at the way the last 8 months have been going. It's hammer out issues. Okay, some of them are still there, trade, peace talks. Some of them are still out there, but it's this. They haven't walked away from Russia, Ukraine. They're still trying to solve that. They haven't walked away from China. Here we have another big meeting. So India, from what I'm hearing and reading, India is right on the tail of China. Like I've been saying, China's first, India's next. Then
They were waiting to see what China was going to do, right?
and then Canada and Mexico go next. Mexico just got
All
an
right, so you've named this the quantum convergence economy. So talk to me. What is it that your vision is for the economy over the next few years? What is it that you think that's going to come out of this quantum convergence economy?
We're going to see a tech explosion much further than what we've just scratched the surface of tech. People keep saying this is the dot-com bubble. No, it's not the dot-com bubble. The dot-com bubble was when you opened up the hood of the engine, you looked at the engine and you went, whoa, whoa, that doesn't sound good. What we're doing today is we have now removed the engine. We've removed the carburetor. We're looking into the pistons. We're looking into the engine itself. This is extensive. The dot-com bubble was the beginning. Now the tentacles of that have now spread to everywhere in life, everything that we do. And I think that the explosion in technology.
Dot-com bubble took 2 years. I mean, most people don't realize it was 98, 99. I was there. And then, of course, it all fell apart at the end of 98, 99, 2000. So, I mean, it wasn't overnight. And this isn't overnight either. I saw it coming and I took off to Key West. I mean, I went off to Florida. I was living in DC. I knew it was going. And guess what? I see it again, Steve. I think you and I are the different sides of this, but I do like the fact that you are thinking about this from a tech side of this, because I do think that's the case. But I also think that okay, let's just say that this economy does happen, this quantum convergence, that tech just blows up. And I'm in the forefront of tech. You know that I'm Mr. Tech. But it's not fair to every person out there that's not going to be part of this economy. If they're not part of the economy, then the economy doesn't grow. The economy doesn't grow because AI grows us. The economy grows because the tech behind the people behind the tech is what makes it grow.
And I'll answer that. I agree, but I answer that not yet. It has to spread down to Main Street. We've talked about this. There needs to be programs from the government. The government can do a lot of things good. And one of them that they can do is to help people make the transition into this new world, this new quantum convergence. And it can offer educational programs. We've got an extensive community college, and every community college can have a government-sponsored program without no out-of-pocket expense to people. And why not get these big tech companies to open up some of their wallets and use these intern programs in which to bring people into the fold?
We agree. I agree.
Now, I have one other point I want to agree with you on. You've talked about a book that's out, 1929.
Yeah.
And you've talked about the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
And you said, 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
So when do we want to say that this tech explosion has begun? I'm going to say 2025, the real tech explosion. Okay. Maybe we can go back to 2024. So how long will this one last? Let's say if it's 2024, rather than using your 1929 book showing some similarities, why don't we look simply 4 years ahead at 2029, 100-year anniversary? Now, that is a different story.
Is that when you say this whole thing ends in 4 years from now?
If we have not addressed the global debt problem by that time, that will be the undoing of the economy and will usher in whatever the quantum convergence is building.
So your paper, I'd like you to write this paper. It doesn't be long, just enough to understand. We understand your philosophy and get it out there for everybody, like a Michael Litt paper. Include that. Include the debt. Include all the things around it. Include the geopolitical issues that are going on. Obviously, if you want, please get AI to help you write it. It's great. I love it. But I really want people to understand your philosophy about this new economy, because look, I'm not quite in the boat. I mean, I totally love the technology. I'm part of it, but I don't think it's going to solve all of our problems. It's going to solve I'm the first one to say it's going to solve a lot of them. But now people have gone from AI is not going to do anything to AI is going to solve the whole freaking world. I don't believe either one of them. I think it's right in the middle. That's what I've said.
And I agree. I agree, Steve. It's not going to solve everything day one. No, not at all. But it's going to give the tools to solve a lot of the problems. And it'll be the youthful movement that begins to use these tools. I look at my 5-year-old grandson, picks up my iPhone, and he's already gone in and out. And I'll be like, how did you change that? Now, he may not know how he changed it, but damn, he hit the right buttons to do
Right.
it and change it. And so these kids today, this stuff is like, are you kidding me? And so I think that this is a transitional time. I think Howard and you started your show off, and it was, I would say, a tad higher on the emotional level. And I think that that is so symbolic of exactly what we are in today, right now, this
Right.
moment, ahead of a Fed meeting, ahead of a China. Listen, if the United States and China truly sit down and hammer out some issues here, oh, the explosion that we could see in the financial markets.
I'm with you on this. Let's sit down. I think there needs to be more bilaterals, more trilateral meetings around the world. Let's sit down and get this done. If this is what Trump is really trying to do, then get it done. But this blustering, oh, well, we'll throw 3,000% tariff on, that is not getting things done. It's not the art of the deal, right? Sit down, have a discussion. You've got this, we've got that. All right, you want to stand up, you want to be mean, we'll be mean. Then, but let's lower the temperature and let's get things done. I think the temperature has gone from there to Main Street now. I'm seeing the rumbles around the world.
Sure. I mean, look, we've had assassination attempts and we've had assassinations. So, yeah, the temperature is high and we do need to cool it. And again, part of my theory here, this is where I believe everything starts to cool. I think cooler heads will prevail. I think you had to raise the temperature in order to get people to sit at the table. Right now, you've got a tremendous part of the U.S. population sitting there going, am I going to get my next check? Is the military going to get paid?
That's my point. Exactly. Yep. They don't give a shit about the stock market going up if they can't eat.
That's right.
Right? I mean, that's what I'm saying with the economy. And guess what? If they're not eating, they're going to rise up. They're going to be the youth movement that rises up, and we're going to have a civil freaking war. So that's what I'm saying. See, this economy has to work for everybody. Oops. Did we lose Steve there? I think his camera just dropped off.
Uh-oh. You holding him back? You kicked him out, didn't you?
I promise you,
that wasn't very nice.
I promise you,
Let's
I didn't
see
even
if he comes back in here quickly here for you.
But you know what, Hondo, he's absolutely right. Steve Flanagan is right. The economy is changing. We have another world about that. We do have another world that's coming through.
I didn't want to bother you guys, but I was going to say, there's an in-between, and maybe what we need to see is that, some of the forms of socialism that might scare some of our capitalists might be what is the answer to that economy problem. Steve, I think BigBeat cut you off. I know it, man. I think it
was Big Tech saying
and I'm going to let you guys have at it. My one statement I'd like you to discuss, though, is maybe, Mr. Flanagan, the answer to that K issue, the fact that the state needs to provide more, and the extra income and earnings that are going to come from AI and our owning 10% of some of these companies could be how we bring that bottom up. And I'll leave on that.
Wow. Well, there you go, Howard. I mean, a national sales tax on tech. I don't know. That would be. You don't want to create a costly environment.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we have more social programs, and the way we're able to pay for them is by the fact that we now have a sovereign fund that's not a sovereign fund. We own 10% of Intel. We own 10% of this company. We own 10% of that company.
I am against a digital usage tax. I mean, that would be that's no.
Yeah, let the EU do that crap, not us.
Yeah, that's why they're not keeping up with our technology.
Exactly why. Yep. So, this is a real positive in a sea right now that has like I said, in a dark room, you throw a dart, you'll hit a negative balloon every single time. It's very hard to find a positive, but the price in the market is telling us that something is going on. We get corrections of 1.5% to 2%, but they snap right back. What does that mean? It means that there is an unending demand for the product, the equity. So I think what we're on is the precipice of this quantum convergence. I really pin a lot on the U.S. and China. I really need to see that the core issue is at least talked about, addressed, or that the inherent America's conflict, economic conflict with China, at least they agree to another meeting.
You're calling it a conflict?
Well, you hit it. You can't keep saying 100% tariff. Well, if you do that, now it's a 200% tariff.
Right.
Got to stop. We got to stop at some point because.
Okay.
But what it does is it brings people to the table. It brings the leader of China and the leader of the United States to a table. So let's watch. Is it one of those handshakes? Is it an embracing handshake with the left hand comes up as well? I believe it will be. I wouldn't even rule out a possible in-tight little hug.
You know what? I'm going to see if I'm going to bring in our friend Alan Ellman into this. Alan, how are you, my man?
Morning, everybody. How you doing, gentlemen?
Normally, Alan, we do we're on the precipice of obviously one of the biggest days in the economy, which is what the Fed does today. So, if you don't mind, Dr. Ellman, we might get away from the options thing today and bring you into the political talk. Are you okay with that today?
Do so when
We've
you're
got all the legends in one place today. This is amazing to see you guys. All three of you together. This is fantastic viewing, guys. You get very lucky to watch this today.
Yeah, I love this because our numbers are way high today. People are watching live, so I thought maybe we can bring Alan in as well. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Alan Ellman, blue collar investor, Mr. Options himself. Look, let's talk about it. And we're going to talk about it from your side too, Alan. Is that the put to call ratio right now is off the charts. The economy is not working for everybody. And I tasked Mr. Steve Flanagan over the last 2 weeks to name this new economy, and he's named it the quantum convergence economy. Yeah, that's what I said too. All right, so talk to me. What is it that you're seeing, Alan, around the world that, and of course you speak you were just at Money 2020 and all these different, you did all these different conferences as well. And you got no one coming up, I believe. What are you seeing out there with this economy?
I think investors are scared to death right now. And that's interesting because the market has been doing so well, but people are concerned about the impact of tariffs, of course, the job losses that we're seeing every day. And now with the shutdown, we can't even craft our representation of what the market and the economy is going to look like because we're just not getting all the reports in. So I was just back from the Orlando Money Show where there were over 1,000 investors there, and a lot of them spoke with me. I did a keynote address there, and there was a large audience, and I spoke to a lot of these people, and they're all saying the same thing. I know the market's going up, and my portfolios are really doing great, but I'm scared to death to put any more money into the market. As a matter of fact, I'm beginning to take some off the table because I don't know what's going to happen within the next 3 to 6 months.
That's exactly where I'm at. I've been peeling off every day. But Steve Flanagan, I'll let him to defend his own position.
Well, and that is what you guys, what we've all been saying, right? And even Mr. Flanagan, I will say, I'll come in again as the scorekeeper here, and say that everybody has said the same thing: money on the sidelines. So while we've been at different levels of, what's the fall look like? When does it come? We've all said the same thing: make sure you have plenty of dry capital on side.
Yeah, I'm not saying the market's going to go one way or the other. What I'm saying is what I've actually seen in person is that investors are just frightened to put more money on the table. As a matter of fact, they're starting to take money off the table and waiting to see what happens.
And I would agree 100% with Alan. That's exactly a prudent risk management strategy. The difference and the point I like to highlight is we have never, ever seen a market like this before.
That's exactly right. I have been trying to pinpoint this through history. I've been trying to do my own homeworks, And I tell you, I can't figure it out. This economy is completely different. That's why I've tasked you to renaming this economy. All right, well, you boys have been in the risk management business all your lives, including myself. How do we do it this time? Why is this time different?
Well, I think that right now I think what's different is you just can't quantify the status of the economy and the market. Normally when you go through all the economic reports that come out each week, and I do that and I summarize it for my members, uh, usually you can make an assessment of where we're going, the direction we're going.
Yeah.
But right now, with such an aberration in the concerns that we have, that you just cannot quantify the direction of the market. And that's what scares a lot of people. Normally I could figure it out. Normally I have an opinion about it, but today I just don't. So why not err on the side of caution and take a little off the table and wait and see what happens? Like, are they going to lower the interest rates 25 basis points today? Probably, but who knows? I mean, the Fed doesn't have all the data it normally would have to make that kind of decision. Is there going to be another cut in December? Probably, but once again, you don't know how the Fed is going to react.
I mean, if the Fed doesn't cut, Alan, the market's going to fall out of bed.
What's that?
If they don't cut today, the market's going to fall out of bed.
Yeah, no, I believe that it will cut, but I'm just saying that
don't 99.99%. Don't be that one guy on the sideline.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that the reason the Fed has been hesitant to this point is for the very thing we're talking about, is they just can't quantify what's going on.
And he's been saying, Powell's been saying that, his position's always been data dependent, and now there's no data. So what does he say today?
Well,
Notice silence.
at his last meeting, he did say that they have their internal forecasts that they are pretty accurate and can use. And I think what Alan just nailed is exactly right. The quantitative analysis that we have all used over our careers has been disrupted.
Yeah.
The data does not always equal or add up to the same things that we've grown accustomed to being able to, offer insight to what's ahead. And this is right why you should be reducing risk and still participating in the up move, but waiting, because there'll be a storm that occurs when a couple of tweets come out or one piece of information gets dropped on the market, and today's markets will correct 2 to 5% within a few hours.
Yeah, Steve, if I could throw something in from an options perspective just for a second.
Absolutely, expect it.
One of the things when you have an options portfolio, you can craft it so that you're bullish on the market, you're cautious on the market. There are different ways that you can craft your options portfolio. What I've been hearing at all these events that I've been attending over the last 6 months or so, quite a few of them, that all the options traders, or most of them, are crafting their portfolios and implementing defensive positions on their options trades. They're doing deep out of the money puts. They're doing in the money covered calls. So they have additional protection to the downside. So yes, you're still making money, but you have that additional protection to the downside. Whereas in normal to bull market environments, you would take a more aggressive position so that you can make even greater returns. So they're taking greater returns and throwing that out the window in exchange for more protection to the downside. So that's, again, another reflection on how investors are feeling about the upcoming market.
So are you saying that put a big straddle on? Is that what you're saying to us?
Well, I'm saying that whatever way you can hedge your options positions, deep out of the money puts, collars on your covered calls, in the money, whatever you could do, that's what people are doing right now.
Are they doing it on individual stocks? Or are they doing it on indices like Qs or SPY? Are they doing it on their own individual stocks?
Well, I mean, they're doing it on stocks and exchange traded funds like the Qs, both. But now an ETF, an exchange traded fund, as everybody knows, is a basket of stocks, some going up, some going down. So the implied volatility of those securities is a little bit lower than individual stocks. So the premiums will be a little bit lower. But the Qs probably are the securities that I have used the most over the last 30 years, and the one that's made me a boatload of money over the last 3 decades. But it's not always in favor right now.
And in 3 decades, Alan, you said it yourself, there's no economy like this. So I'm going to task you with the same thing I tasked Steve Flanagan. I tasked him by naming this economy, and he named it the quantum convergence economy. Do you agree with that, or do you want to name it something else?
Now you put me on the spot.
Yeah,
it's I don't know. I could probably think of a better word, but right now I would just call it a very concerning economy.
A concerning economy. That's what I'm trying to get across. I'm not pounding the table yet. I'm not saying go run out and go, chicken little yourself to death here. But I am saying that people need to be understanding that the market has run in one direction for too long, and there's going to be a pullback here.
Yeah, I think that you're with the majority of investors right now, from what I've seen out there traveling the country and emails I've been getting. I think they're right on board with what you're saying, Steve.
Okay, well, I understand that. Steve Flanagan, last words before I let you guys all go. Just want to thank everybody out there that's watching. We've now hit 4,000 of you watching right now, so thanks you for the big numbers here. And my respect to Dr. Alan Ellman, Alan, and Steve Flanagan, I've known forever. I really thank you guys for being here, because we built Quasar Markets for one thing, and that was to bring true people like yourselves that are actually in the markets, not just because you have websites, but you do. It's called the bluecollarinvestor.com. Please go there. Steve Flanagan, money moves first. Those guys, listen, have been take advantage. The three of us have 100 years of literally education, and I call it being in the trenches for a very long time. And we all have war wounds, right, boys? And I let people take advantage of that. All right, Steve Flanagan, I'm going to give you the last word because it was your quantum convergence economy. So give us the last word.
All right. So 2 things. One, Fed. Does the Fed end quantitative tightening? I expect a rate cut, but I want to see, do they end quantitative tightening? Because that will be very supportive of a risk environment. And then 2, China, U.S. Does it address the core issue? And the core issue I see is the United States' economic conflict with China. Do we begin to set up a series of meetings? Do we begin to address that shared technology idea? So,
Alan, do you agree with that?
I do, and it's an honor to be on the same stage with Steve. Great work.
Likewise, Dr. Allen.
We should do this more often. These big rounds. I like this. Maybe special days like this on those Wednesdays when the Fed comes out. Anybody want to take a quick guess about who the next Fed chair is going to be?
No, I have no clue.
Me neither. I don't even care about that one. All right, guys. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Steve, I'll see you on Wednesday, Friday. I'll be in Chicago. I'll have some ears to the ground at what's going on there in the options pit. So for all of you guys out there, thank you so much for watching us. When you hit 4,000 followers, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We'll see you right here back here tomorrow.